Hi Pisces. Okay, welcome, excuse me, to Opal Oracle. If you are new, if you're returning, welcome back. Welcome back. All right, I did the same spread as October. It's 5 cards. What you want, what you need, what's helping, what's hindering. We have basically what you'll be learning through this time period of these cards, which obviously can very much and will last. Some of the energies will definitely last longer. Tarot usually isn't a daily lesson. You know, life isn't a daily. We don't figure things out like that. And then we have an overarching energy. And then we also, I picked one extra card from the Mary L. Tarot that represents what you need to work through during this time frame with this Venus transit, because it's Libra season. Venus is important. Love's important, right? You actually received the 4 of Cups. In this tarot deck, things are a bit different. Okay, Capricorn also received this card, so I would say if you have that in your chart, if you're aware where that is and how that affects you, it doesn't have to be your sun, moon, or rising. It can be wherever it is. You know, it'll teach you about that. But they definitely have some you can learn from one another, okay? Of course, I'm also recording, I haven't told everyone, but I'm also recording the opposing signs. You know, we did Capricorn, then Cancer. We did Libra, then Aries. Gemini, then Sagittarius. Now we're moving into Virgo, and then you, Pisces. So, I'm going to show you too. I didn't show anybody except for you and Virgo. So what you want is strength. Great. First major arcana. And did you see how it bent? I don't know if you can tell. Yeah. And I actually said what's helping when this card came out. But it was the first card. Okay? What you need, 3 of Cups. What's helping? The Lovers. So we have 2 major arcana now. What's hindering? The King of Wands. Then what you're learning about is the 10 of Swords. I clarified that just because we could have found it and I actually heard a message, but I wanted to know a little bit more because these are general. We received the King of Cups, which is actually Scorpio's card, but of course this can be you. The overarching energy is also the 4 of Cups, doubly so. Who else got that? Libra received the same card here as well. It is their season. Of course, all signs can learn from whoever's having a birthday. It's just a nice way to understand how to connect to one another. That we're not really that different, you know. I was just telling a wonderful client and friend today that the person I work with, that, you know, we're all trying to reach the same destination, and even for most of us are trying to achieve the same things. We're just going about it in a little bit different of a way because there's differing degrees of what it is that we want, right? Like to some people, strength would be like, you want to be like a UFC fighter or something, you know? To other people, strength would be being, you know, that they understand that that's an internal thing. It's not external at all, right? Some people may think strength is not crying about something even though you're sad. Other people, well, the strength is actually to cry. So again, I guess that's part of you understanding these differing of degrees. Let me write down your 4 of Cups card too. Now, I think for a lot of you, what you also want is to open up your root chakra about something. Like there's something that you used to be really afraid of. Okay? And I sense for a lot of you, it's like when you start moving forward on something, then something gets blocked, your ego pops up. And we used to talk about your ego actually quite a bit last summer, which we all have, you know, but you're Pisces, so there's so much about the unconscious, or the subconscious rather, that is attached to you, the things that are unseen, you know, things that are intangible. And really that's what strength is intangible. You know, you can't go buy this at a store. You can't, it doesn't matter how many muscles you have. It's the muscle of your heart, right? It's the muscle of your mind and your heart interconnected. You know, the peace within yourself is something that can only be achieved through you feeling safe, right? And no one else can do that for you. Yes, people can support you, right? Your friendships, you know, maybe for some of you, you really feel like you'd like your friendships to be more supportive, I heard. Just a second. Where do you have it? Yes, you have Saturn in the 11th house. We've talked about this. It's hard for me to remember everyone. But all your mediocre friends, this is what I wrote. This is your Saturn lesson, okay? All mediocre friends, gone. Who can you count on? Who can you not count on? You intuitively already knew anyway, and this has been happening for some time, right? And then it says, be responsible. I wrote down, be responsible to those who you love and who love you. And it also says to use, because Capricorn Saturn, which also is technically, Saturn also rules Aquarius, that 11th house, okay? It's actually comfortable there. So it's helpful for you to complete some sort of cycle. And in that, Saturn is, or Capricorn in general, is also I build, I use. So, you know, because you can use something appropriately. A lot of people will be like, well, don't use me, or don't use, you know, you're just using that. But no, you can use something really, you know. If I use a whisk versus a fork, it's not to say that I don't like the fork anymore, or that the fork doesn't have any purpose, but that the whisk maybe is more efficient. And in this, there's also a note about using appropriate tools, and one of those tools is being, the reason why you're getting rid of all these mediocre people in your life, particularly any kind of surface friendships, or for some of you that are, well, young or old, like, you know, party friends are not your friends. No offense. You know, your drug dealer's never your friend. I saw that in a movie once. But the point is you're making space, okay, so that you understand that when Saturn leaves this 11th house for you, this transit, and of course it affects you individually in your chart differently, but like, you're going to understand more about, have a stronger structure that lasts into the future, okay? A lot of these friends, actually, that may have been taken away could have been in your life for a really long time, you know, 10 years plus. Really, really hugely emotionally attached to you. People that, you know, and you're forgiving, too. You know? Which is beautiful. It's one of your attributes that's very positive, but of course they can also be, every strength is a weakness, right? Now, what's helping you? Lovers. Well, I see that there are people on your team. I see that, that are like you, okay? Like, the people, yeah, maybe right now, you're, you know, again, what you want is, this is friendship. This is also you being like, yay, like, I find something finally came to fruition, and you can celebrate it now, right? But I sense that your root chakra needs to be more, not wide open, because I don't know if people understand, like, it's important to know that a chakra shouldn't just, it can be open and closed, yes, but it can also be overly open. And when that happens, you know, sometimes when people, I guess I feel the need to share this, sometimes when people have like trauma, because that's where childhood is, Saturn also rules the root chakra. So it's like, if you have trauma or things that happened in your childhood that affected your stability or your safety, obviously this could be specifically sexual as well. It's like, either sometimes it completely closes up and you don't let anyone in, or you can let people in, but only in a way that's in certain circumstances, and it's very specific, and it's not in totality, because you will open it up but then it closes right back up. Like, it's not, there's not a consistency there. So that's also what you want, is, I sense, consistency in that too, knowing how to open and close it appropriately. Because of course, like, there's a time and a place that you need to protect yourself, you know, speak up for yourself, defend yourself. But then of course there's also times where you just got to take it easy, right? I also see that, I sense that there's also people around you that are helping you be a little bit more, you know, again, even if there's smaller circle of folks, those folks, it goes back to that message about loving those who love you, you know, and letting them love you too, okay? Because what's hindering is this King of Wands, and this is just all red, and it could be a fire sign of the past. I see for some of you, it definitely is someone that you used to be involved with, or that was, I heard, related to you. We've also always talked about that you have this fiery energy. Like when Pisces wants to get pissed, dear Lord, watch out. You know, when you get mad, it's because, think about it, like, in the Bible, people try to make out, you know, nowadays anyway, trying to make out, because Jesus came in the age of Pisces. Angels in the beginning weren't white and fluffy and soft-skinned and sweet. They were scary. They were intense. They were helpful, but they were scary. They were supposed to be seen as revered and respected, you know? Wasn't something you just call on when you need something. It's about respecting that someone is there when you need them is what makes that other energy, that other entity want to help you, right? And that's also you within your own energetic self. Like, now with Venus in retrograde also, because I do see this as king as another person, regardless of sign. It's because you also have this other king here. We turn from fire to water, okay? And when the fire finally turns to water, I see this whole situation will also be done in a way like you understanding better about what this message is talking about in totality in December time. But like that, then that cycle will be closed a little bit more emotionally, okay? You'll put this behind you, this Ten of Swords, and start expressing yourself in the way that you really want to, because you have a choice all the time. You can express yourself like this, you can express yourself like this, however you want. It's your choice. You know, you can burn it down, you can drown it, you can warm something, you can cool it off. And that's having more control within your own self, right? Within your shadow and light side, right? Now, the overarching energy, this Four of Cups. Well, these two can sort of be about decisions, okay? I sense in a way that something's already happening, but there's still something deep inside of you that, like, even when you have all the things that you want, or you're starting to build, like, again, you made room, right? You got rid of a bunch of things, and now you're like, okay, I'm going to start, again, Saturn, right? We're going to start building something solid. Now, we have 3s and 4s, and then we have a bunch of major arcana and a bunch of adults. But the 3s and the 4s are water, right? But 3 and 4 equals 7, which is actually on the bottom of the deck. And then below that, 5 of Cups, okay? Now, this shows that, you know, Venus in retrograde is also going to make you sort of, everyone kind of look back and be like, especially it being in Scorpio, is what's appropriate to me, what's not appropriate to me. Obviously, you could be thinking about your past lovers. It's actually, and people that you loved, and understanding like what they taught you in a positive way, what you could have done better. Of course, we could try, if you end up in the mentality, because the only swords here is like, and this is like, you did this to me. That's a lot of times how I see this, like, you did this to me. But no, you're an adult. You choose. You know, you choose. And it's all about how you express yourself in that time and space, okay? In that moment, how do you communicate what your heart's saying, right? Now, again, if you're going back and if you're backtracking and checking in and, you know, perhaps having some old memories about things that have happened with whatever, it's things that affect the heart. Well, if you're still in a space where you're blaming the other person, then it's important for you to get out of that, okay? It's important for you to just, it's more of one of the best ways I found to be able to forgive someone is to look at all the things that they taught you. What did you learn by interacting with them? What did you learn through that situation, regardless of how painful it was, right? And wherever that was in your life, whatever it is that comes up for you, of course, each of you, this will be different. But if you check in again and be like, you know, how did that help me grow as a person? How did that help me get to where I am now? You know, and I heard if you don't like where you are now, or you're still uncertain about it, right? Like that it's actually good for you or not, then there really is a need for you to check in with your heart and your root chakra, you know, that kind of safety again. And see why it's sort of doing that, you know. All right, that's that. We're going to choose, to close this out, we're going to choose from The Warrior of Light by Mr. Paulo, the same gentleman who wrote The Alchemist. My friend Danielle sent me this. I'm so happy. All right, Pisces. Someone else received this too. It's interesting. There's a lot of repeats, but I guess, again, if this happened with Virgo too. It says, a warrior of the light respects the main teaching of the I Ching. To preserve is favorable. He knows that perseverance is not the same thing as insistence. There are times when battles go on longer than necessary, draining him of his strength and enthusiasm. At such moments, the warrior thinks, a prolonged war finally destroys the victors too. Then he withdraws his forces from the battlefield and allows himself a respite. He preserves in his desire. Stay close, Hunt Baby. He preserves in his desire, but he knows he must wait for the best moment to attack. A warrior always returns to the fray. He never does so out of stubbornness, but because he has noticed a change in the weather. You know, maybe if you're fighting with yourself about something emotionally too during this time, it's like, hey, Issa, stay over here, baby. Come here. Come on. Come on over here. Come on back. Come on. Good girl. Just a second. Come on. Good girl. Thanks for listening. That's good. Good job. You want to come here? Yeah. Good girl. Good job. Anyway, you know, if you're having emotional back and forths about things, well, take a little respite. Take a little rest, right? Because again, if you just stay in that, if you just try to fight yourself about something, it's, well, no one wins that, right? And again, I see that whatever battles you've been through, it's like, well, again, like I said, just try to start thinking about, you know, who is it that you still feel like hurt you, and how can you start viewing it from a way that you are so appreciative of what they've taught you and where you are now, right? Right? Right, Isa? All right, I'll see you later.